Welcome to Franchise Empires, where aspiring entrepreneurs learn exactly what it takes to become a successful franchise owner, from one location to 10 and beyond. I'm the Wolf of Franchises.
Hey everyone, it's the Wolf. Today on the show we have Maya Ratcliff, the founder and CEO of Hawaii Fluid Art. This is a brand that she founded in 2020 and has only been franchising for about 11 months. And she already has 180 locations in development around the United States. And her corporate location for her franchise that she started in Hawaii has one of the best unit economics I've ever seen from a corporate location. This is an awesome story to learn how her franchise is differentiated, why she started the brand, and what her plans are for growth going forward. I think you're really going to enjoy this one, and you might even be interested in looking deeper into this brand. Hope you enjoy.
The Wolf of Franchises is the CEO of Wolfpack Franchising, as well as a creator at Workweek Media. All opinions expressed by the Wolf and podcast guests are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinion of Wolfpack Franchising or Workweek. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon as a basis for investment decisions. The Wolf, Workweek, and Wolfpack Franchising may maintain positions in the franchises discussed on this podcast.
You started the brand, it was only founded in 2020, so during COVID. Do you kind of just want to share what Hawaii Fluid Art is and how you ended up starting it in the midst of a pandemic?
Yeah, so if you can imagine walking into a beautiful art gallery filled with artisan work, jewelry, etc., and then in the back there's an active art studio. So that's really our business model. But how it started was a hobby. I was busy in corporate America, and my husband said, hey, you really need a hobby to learn to relax. And I tried everything, and I mean everything. I tried oil painting. I was horrible. Watercolors, acrylics. I even tried whittling wood, like with a little knife. I was terrible. I actually used curse words the whole time while doing it. My husband says, honey, a hobby is not supposed to be horrible. You're supposed to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And so one day I was watering down some paints and poured them out onto a paper plate, and I saw the way they flowed, and then I tried it on canvas, and I started posting my work on Facebook, and people started buying it, and then people started asking me to teach, and it kind of went from there.
No way. Wow. So
yeah.
Are you naturally like artistic? Because I got to be honest, like I know myself, I like arts and crafts. I liked it, but I was really bad, and my peers were normally just better than me. So did it come naturally to you to like? I assume if people are buying your art on Facebook, even that's a decent sign that you have some talent.
No, I'm terrible at all art except for the art forms that I've created for people that have zero art skill.
Okay.
Yeah, I am not artistic. I'm creative, but I'm not artistic.
Very interesting. Okay, so it's this acrylic or sorry, is it watercolor? If I walk into a Hawaii Fluid Arts, that's what you're teaching, like that, or you're allowing people to create those kinds of?
Well, it's an acrylic base that we mix with a secret sauce that's all non-toxic, and what it does is it makes the paint flow around the canvas. So we actually don't use any paint brushes in our standard class, which is the fluid art class. Now we do have lots of different art forms that we teach. Glass painting, resin tumbler creation, silk scarf marbling, and the list goes on, because we want to keep it fresh for our students, because our average return rate is very high, and we want to keep it that way year after year.
So interesting. And is this, just as a concept, right? Because there's a lot of, or not a lot, but there's some, right? Like almost like wine and art class. Is it like that kind of vibe? Is bring your own wine, or no? Is it just you're here to create fun pieces of art?
It's not that kind of vibe, in the fact that when everybody walks through the door, they're like, wow, this place is gorgeous. It's not sterile at all. It's got live plants and fish tanks, and the walls are painted black, and there's a hot paint wall with a big mural on it. So it has all this energy, and it has a really special vibe. But yes, you can BYOB.
Oh, okay. Very cool. All right. So you started this, I guess, like you said, right? Bit of a, I guess was inspired from the hobby that you picked up. and eventually maybe, wasn't as frustrating as the other hobbies you tried. What was it like? Oh, you were in Hawaii when you built that first location, correct?
Yeah, I actually taught out of my garage for the first 6 months. I decided to turn my 2-car detached garage into a studio on the Big Island of Hawaii, and I taught 1,000 people the first 6 months. And we realized that I needed a retail location, and so I found one and got moved in, and the first month was like off the charts. And we didn't have any tourism in Hawaii because the COVID protocols were very strong. So everybody had to wear masks and gloves and stand 6 feet apart. And we were booked the entire first month, and it's gone from there.
Incredible. And how when you're in the garage, like, how are you finding customers? Or like you just
Yeah, Facebook. I just same as our marketing platform now. I just posted on Facebook, hey, art classes Saturday and Sunday, these hours, message me for back then I was doing send me a text message, and I was keeping all the reservations in Outlook. We've grown a little.
Yeah.
So now we have online booking platforms and a call center and all the things. But back then, yeah, it was just social media.
Incredible. It's just fascinating to see kind of like a hobby develop into, let me extend this and I'll teach people out of a garage. And then it was like the demand just kept coming. So you just kept kind of, rolling with it. All right. So when you build that location and, you actually have a real like storefront and brand, when did you already have the idea? And that was probably like end of 2020/2021 where you're even at that point, right? When did
we opened the first location May of 2021?
Okay, yeah. And so when did the idea come to franchise? Was it when you were opening it? You're like, we're going to franchise it, or how did that happen?
That's kind of a fun story. So on the Big Island of Hawaii, there's a very fancy resort community, and at that resort community are all the rich and famous. And I had been invited there to teach. So I would set up tents, tables, the whole bit at this incredible community. And I've taught everybody from Matthew McConaughey to Pink to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
No way.
Oh, yeah. And one day after I was done teaching classes, this group of very well-known actors and singer-songwriters come up to me and said, Maya, we want to talk to you about something. And I'm covered in paint. And I'm like, yeah, what's up? And they're like, we really think you should franchise this idea because everybody deserves to experience Hawaii fluid art. And I was just like, really? And they're like, yeah, we traveled the world and we've never experienced anything like this. And at this point, these people were not just taking classes at the resort. They would come to my garage at my house to create big 4 foot by 5 foot or 3 foot by 4 foot pieces. And then we would ship them back to the mainland. Like, we even had one person create a piece of art for the bathroom of their private jet. So it was just insane to have this group of people tell me that I really needed a franchise. And that's where the original idea came from. That's
incredible. And were those folks, I mean, without divulging any thing of their identity, I mean, were they franchisees, or they just thought you should be able to share that with more people?
They thought that we should be able to share it with more people. They loved the way their kids enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You've got to picture these people that are on major motion movies, right? Or motion pictures, whatever they're called. Paint on their hands, big grins on their faces, with their little apron on that says Hawaii Fluid Art, laughing and rucking it up. And they're just feeling 100% normal in the moment, right? And enjoying it. And not just painting one piece, but 4 or 5 or 6 because they didn't want to quit because they were having so much fun. And so for them, they just felt that everybody deserved to experience Hawaii fluid art because it's not just a paint class. It truly is an experience. We're all about magic moments. I put a little heart over my chest with my fingers. Magic moments are where we help everybody feel amazing. It's when they walk in, we say aloha, all the way down to the entire time they get positive reinforcement. Great color combination. You're doing a fabulous job. It seems like you've done this before. And so we build these moments of magic throughout the entire 45-minute to an hour class, and people leave feeling absolutely amazing about themselves.
That's fantastic. Wow, so many questions. I think it's so cool that you were kind of just like the on-call celebrity paint teacher in Hawaii. That's amazing. Wow. Well, all right. So I gotta ask. It's just what was Matthew McConaughey like? Is the whole Texas all right shtick? Is that real or is that just for the cameras?
No, I think he's a genuine guy.
Yeah.
His wife is this incredibly beautiful, kind soul. His children are incredibly well behaved. To me, celebrities, I'm not impressed by celebrities because I know they just want to be like everybody else.
Yep.
And so I think I got to know these people on a deeper level, and it's a fun thing, to have that caliber of person believe in what I'm doing.
That's so cool. Yeah, no, I mean, I could see that just being just a really awesome experience. And so can you try to talk more about, and part of this is me, right? I'll again admit, just for the audience here, I'm not a very artsy person. My knowledge of like different paints, and I took an art class in college, and I think I slept my way through it. It sounds like the things, right? Like you said, one of the people in Hawaii made a painting to go on their private jet. So it sounds like the types of like the pieces of art that are being created in these classes, you can't necessarily find somewhere else, because like you did mention, there's some secret sauce too as part of this. Yeah. So like without divulging obviously the secret sauce, but like how is the art different than, say, I know there's like other, I guess a wine and sip class where like my friends have made some watercolor paintings and they look kind of nice. But yeah.
So the difference is, it's really fun to go to those paintbrush classes that you can sip on some wine, right? It's fun to do it, but the art is not really something you're going to hang up in your house. So what we did is I created all these different art forms that are truly easy, but look like something you would get in a gallery. Okay, so we're layering paints in a cup and we're pouring paint on a canvas, and then we're tilting the canvas around, and it creates this beautiful, abstract, colored, intense, depthy piece. But not only that, we have something special that no other art franchise has in the world that I know of. And that is, we offer a resin top coat. So once their piece is dry, we will put a 2-part epoxy UV protectant top coat on it for him that makes it look like glass. It's a finished piece of stunning art. You can never create the same piece ever. We have them all over in law offices, in Sony Records studios. I mean, all over the United States, actually the world at this point, because the art is so beautiful and anybody can do it. Literally anybody can do it. We work with all abilities and all different abilities.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, because I'm pretty bad at art. So like if I walked in, I can still come out with like a potentially cool piece of art?
You're gonna come out with a knock it out of the park piece of art. I challenge you to come take a class, because I know you can do it. Anybody and everybody. So let me give you a little example. We get these guys on date nights, right, where their women are dragging them in there. This is lame. 5 minutes into it, and they're like, okay, this is kind of cool. Half an hour into it, they're like, can I do another one? Can I do another? Babe, when can we come back? And so you have the typical dude, right, that's thinking, well, this is going to suck.
Yeah.
And next, no, they can't wait to come back. And then they're booking their 85th birthday or grandma's birthday party in there because they want to come do it again. And then their kid's birthday, and then Valentine's. And so truly anybody and everybody can do it, and they create something beautiful. And then here's the cool part. Every time they see it hanging on the wall, they remember how they felt while they were creating it, which is good, right? Because of those magic moments.
Yeah.
And so they see it and they're brought back to this fond memory. That's why we call them experiences, not classes.
I love that. That's, well, it's encouraging to hear that I can probably take a class. And yeah, wow. I want to go to one out. I'm sure you're expanding to Austin soon enough. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Do you, I guess, sorry, hang on one second.
No problem.
When you look at like just the business in general, right? Is there? So I know you started as the teacher. Are most of the franchisees that are now coming in, are they also like the teachers, or do you hire kind of I don't know if you call them teachers, but whoever runs the experience? Yeah.
No, most of our franchisees, this is an absentee owner model. So for instance, like I haven't even been to my store in Hawaii in a year. We have an extensive training program, and we can teach anybody how to teach these classes. So our franchisees some are major players, some own fast food chains. Other people are retired teachers, social workers. And like I said, we have a comprehensive training program. So when they find an employee, what we're looking for is somebody that just has a good personality, right? A good heart, somebody that can engage with people very naturally. And we can then teach them how to teach the classes. Our platform, you only need 2 employees to be open 7 days a week. And and that's on an absentee model. So we do have some owner operators, but most of them are absentee owners.
Okay. That's fantastic. And I guess switching back just to the classes itself, or the experiences, how have you seen customers, I'm not asking for like repeat customers, like any hard numbers, but just like, for instance, the date night example, do you often see that people who take one class, they're like, every couple of months because they loved it so much, they're just coming back for another class? Or is it like a once a year kind of experience for? No?
It's more like at least once a month, usually every couple of weeks kind of a thing.
Yeah.
We have some people that have been there 25 times. The average return rate is just over 4 times per customer.
Wow.
And if you think about, we've only been open for, 18 months. That's a huge return per customer.
Yeah.
So we feel very fortunate. People come, hang out, have a cup of coffee, do some art, bring their friends, bring their kids, whenever anybody's in town. In the Dallas location, we have a lady that's been there 10 times in the last 2 months.
That's
incredible. She just loves it. And we also teach other art forms. So don't forget, you can come one time and do fluid art, and the next time you can come make a tumbler and cover it with resin. And then the next time you can come and do glass painting. So we offer all these different art forms, and we're always adding new art forms, so it never gets old for the customer.
That's so cool. All right, so I love. It seems like a low labor model, right? You said a single location can be potentially run by 2 employees, and what kind of hours are they typically open? Like, would it be open? We're recording this; it's 10 a.m. Would it be open, or is it more like afternoon through evening? So folks, because most people are probably going after work, I would guess, right?
Yeah, it's 11 to 7. And the reason that we do those hours is we have partnerships with Wounded Warrior, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, all these really big companies, including like Susan G. Komen Foundation, etc. And so what we do is we fill the earlier classes with partnership students, where we bring in field trips. We do library events. We do all these different events in the early part of the day, and then 3, 5, 6:30ish, 7. That's when we start getting the after work crowd. So you're usually you're looking 11 to 7 are normal hours. Now Fridays and Saturdays, we just did 54 students in one day in Kansas City on Saturday. So we were there a little late on Saturday, right? Because 54 students in one day, that's a good day. We're having a good day when we have 54 students in one day. So, but 11 to 7, Monday through Friday, is really where most of the stores are sitting.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Super condensed hours relative to, right, restaurants that could be open 24/7 or something like that. So
right. And so few employees to make it happen, which is wonderful.
Yeah, it's a breath of fresh air, honestly. Well, I guess so. That kind of leads into my next question, I covered your franchise in my newsletter, and I have 2 cents a week. If anyone's listening to this that doesn't subscribe, I'm going to plug it. Go to wolfoffranchises.com and you'll find it. But on my Thursday edition, I cover two emerging franchises that, share financials in their FDD, and that look to have some high potential. And the goal there is just, there's all these new franchises. They're kind of hard to find online, so I kind of do the dirty work for people who want to buy and own franchises, curate ones that just, again, look somewhat promising early on, and that way people can get a pulse on it before, like, you've sold out the entire country, the way like Crumble Cookies got sold out in basically a year. So anyway, I noticed from yours, and I know, of course, franchisors, there's limitations on what you're able to say regarding like profitability and all that, but the margins were incredibly high. And just so listeners are aware, I mean, like you were showing pretty high profit or EBITDA, I should say, upwards of like near over 50%. So yeah, I guess just is it just a high margin service because of that low labor model, and maybe the square footprint isn't so super big, but that was the biggest thing, is just seeing under 500K in top line revenue, but still a very healthy EBITDA margin there. So again, I'm trying to not I'm trying to keep within the lines for you, but yeah, can you just speak to, I guess, just how that model really works, and generally like economic structure of a typical business?
Yeah. Well, one of the things I did is when I was negotiating for my materials, like canvases, paints, brushes, like all that stuff, I negotiated as if I already had 350 locations open, because I will. And that's what I told them. I will. So give me the pricing now, and I will commit to a long-term relationship with you. I don't want any rebates or anything. Just give me the very best price you can give me.
Nice.
And so I am allowed to say that our classes, not the business as a whole, but our classes all run between a 90 and 95% profit margin for every student that comes to that class.
Yep.
Because I've gotten those prices down so low on materials. It's also because we have a very low labor cost.
Yeah.
We pay well, but they make huge tips and commissions. So if they are, on a good month, our team members are doing $1,400 in tips, and that's huge.
Wow. Yeah.
So when you're paying well, but then they're being compensated even bigger by that that tip situation, we don't have any turnover either. So we don't have the expense of training people over and over again. Our footprint, number one. So let me give you an example. Retail facilities and malls reach out to me on a daily basis asking us to come to their shopping centers.
Yeah.
Because they want us so bad, because we're an experience. We're not just a regular boring retail. We're not just a restaurant. We're an experience. So, we have a new flagship store going on the Strip in Vegas, and they approached us. So we're really excited about that. Yeah. And then we have one going in the Mall of America and one going in Orlando, Texas, in a big mall. So that's going to be our West Coast Training Center, our East Coast Training Center, and then Nashville, because who doesn't love Nashville, right?
Yeah.
So what I did is I wanted this business to be able to run off of weekend profits. So what I did is I figured out how many students that we need to have based on what it costs to run, etc. And I made sure that just the weekends, right, just a Saturday, Sunday, are going to pay for everything, and everything else is gravy. Everything else is gravy.
Yeah.
And then my Z's don't pay for the booking site. They don't pay for their 800 number or their call center. They don't pay for any of that stuff. Company takes care of it. So I've worked very hard to keep costs down for the Z. And we have a director of real estate acquisition and construction management, and we help negotiate the lease spaces for our Zs. And we have construction manuals and all these things. We have relationships with sign companies and the whole bit. So everything is priced as if we already have 350 locations. And that's one of the ways that we keep costs down for the Zs and keep our profit margins so high.
That's fantastic. Yeah. I love that. Just coming in and kind of convincing the vendors that, hey, like we're going to be there, so just give us the deal now, and we can work together for a long time. That's really smart. And I mean, let's, I guess, talk about, right, so you've been franchising now for, has it been a year?
It's been, we launched to the public April 20th of last year. So we're pushing a year. We're at 11 months, a little something around that.
Okay. Amazing. And this is more a question for franchisor founders that listen to this, right? Are you partnered with like a franchise sales org? Are you doing it all in-house? You know, what's kind of been your method? Because there's tons of ways to skin this cat.
So we do all the development ourselves, and we don't have salespeople. A potential franchisee is going to speak with me because we're going to be in a 10-year relationship together, and we got to make sure we groove, right? We got to make sure that we're a good fit both ways. We are partnered with some of the large sales organizations in the United States because obviously consultants are a very important part of our business. We are blessed in the fact that we get a lot of I just had a lady who took a class in Hawaii when she was on vacation, got home to North Carolina, reached out to me and yeah, I want one because they have such a good time in class. So we do get a lot of that.
That's amazing. Okay. And yeah, so I know the number because we talked about it before we started recording, but just can you give an idea of, so we're 11 months in, like how many units in development across the country would you say around this point?
At the end of last week, we hit 178 units, and that has gone up this week. So we're looking at 178 units. We haven't even launched in California or New York yet, and we have every intention of having at least 350 total units in the next year sold. So we're pretty excited about that.
That's amazing. Yeah. Wow. Well, I mean, congrats on the growth. That's super amazing to hear. Have you, I guess, as far as there's like growth's a double-edged sword, right? It's amazing. But then of course you kind of like need to keep up with the systems and support. So how's it been with that as you add franchisees, making sure they get open? Are you just expanding your franchisor support system? You know, what's that been like to kind of build the ship as you're already moving?
Well, you definitely have to hire before you can afford it.
Yeah.
You know, there's no way around that. We've been very blessed. We've never taken a loan. We've never done a 401k loan. The business has all been done with a profit from the stores, building the franchise entity. So I was in a unique position where I didn't have massive outgoing loan payments, and I invested in my team, in my employees. So we have a substantial team. We also have a rule for every 10 units open, we bring in another coordinator who babysits those units, takes care of those Z's, etc. So we are corporate heavy, and I did it that way on purpose. And, you know, we have a director of ops, director of real estate acquisition, director of marketing. We have 8 support people, and that will continue to grow. And what's really fabulous is everybody but one of the people that work for me, I have known for years and or have worked with before. You know, I just reach out to people that have great jobs, and I say, hey, this is what we're doing. You want to join us? And they're like, yeah, let's do it. So I've been very fortunate with the quality of team that I have.
That's great. Yeah. And I mean, I think the narrative is fantastic, right? Just with the growth and everything you guys are doing. So, yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want to get aboard a rocket ship like this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And so as you look to grow, I mean, like, is this a concept, you know, do you guys have a unit count in mind for that you're looking to hit like nationwide? And I guess maybe even for franchisees, right? Is this a concept where, you know, obviously the size of the town or city matters a lot, but is it generally like, you know, franchisees opening multiple concepts within their general territory, or is it kind of like 1 to 2 and that's where it tops out from a territory perspective?
We have people that own 10 units. We have people that own 5 units. We have people that own 3 units. Very few of our Z's have only 1 unit. And what happens is they start working on getting their first unit open, see how easy it is, and like, yeah, we want another one. And so my target number since the day that I decided to franchise was I wanted to see 350 units open within a certain amount of time. And then we're launching into Canada, the UK, and Japan, and that's happening the beginning of 2020, the middle of 2024. So we're in works right now to be doing that. We have, we have our own private label resin. We're working on a private label paint. So I have big goals and I work hard to achieve them. And I have a team that helps me get there.
That's amazing. And that's super exciting with the international expansion. So out of curiosity, because I mean, Canada and the UK, just from all the conversations I've had, generally, if a concept is doing well, like in America and the United States, it typically can do well in Canada or the UK and even like Australia, for instance. But Japan, that's an interesting, why that country specifically? Did you have someone reach out, or is there a certain reason you're targeting that?
Well, we have a lot of fabulous tourists in our Hawaii store. And what we found is that the Japanese tourists go absolutely gaga for our experiences. Like, they'll be on vacation on the Big Island, and they will come 3 times in a week. In 1 week. Now, they could be snorkeling, right? They could be seeing the whales. They could be on the volcano, but they're coming to paint at Hawaii Fluid Art. And because of that, we started thinking and doing some research. So we hired an independent research company that went and really dove into what our brand would look like in Japan, and it looks big. It looks real big.
Yeah.
So we're excited about that.
That's brilliant. And even honestly, just it's almost, I mean, you guys, you did it maybe not on purpose, right? But I'm just thinking now for other franchise founders, right? Where if you can somehow get a great location in Hawaii, like the exposure that gets you just because it's such a tourist destination, like it's, I mean, it's fantastic marketing for you. And so, yeah, wow, that's super cool. Well, yeah, look, Maya, this has been an awesome conversation just to learn more about the brand and what you're doing. I honestly, like, I want to go to a class now. And I'm looking at the gallery online, and some of these look pretty cool. So I'm going to have to maybe make a trip to Dallas if there's not one open in Austin yet.
Well, it's not that far of a drive. Come on up, man.
Okay. Yeah, well, look, thanks again for coming on. Is there anywhere online that people can follow either you or the business and the franchise?
Yeah, we're on LinkedIn. You can just search under Hawaii Fluid Art, or my name is Maya Ratcliff. Our website is hawaiifluidart.com. And honestly, you can just Google hawaiifluidart.com or Hawaii Fluid Art, and you're going to find all sorts of fun articles and newsreels and everything from Instagram to YouTube. So yeah, check us out.
Awesome. All right. Yeah, we'll leave those links in the show notes, folks. And yeah, Maya, great to chat and really excited to watch your brand continue to grow.
Well, thank you for having me. And as we say in Hawaii, aloha.
Love it. Aloha.
Thanks for listening to Franchise Empires. We're coming to you soon with actionable insights to take the next step on your franchise journey. So make sure to subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Google, or wherever you listen.